Good morning, everybody. How are we all doing? Sammy, United People's TV. It's Friday. It's not particularly vibey. I'm laughing, but if you don't laugh, you cry, right? It's been a week of just bits of bad news, one on top of the other, like a crap trifle, whatever you want to call it. I just call it a crap trifle. News last night of Luke Shaw and an injury to him, another muscular injury. This one is for an extended period. We don't actually know the severity of it, but it's enough for the Manchester Evening News to suggest that Manchester United are in the market now for a left back. And I'm like, hold on. I'll run through the news on Shaw. I'll run through all the latest transfer news. All right. We'll speak about Gravenberch, Amrabat, Williams. We'll speak about Noam Emeran. We'll speak about McTominay. We'll speak about Jonny Evans and a one-year deal. I'll run through all of that. And then we've got Forest, of course, tomorrow. There's nothing better for bearing bad news than getting back to winning ways. And we've got Forest tomorrow. I'm going to run through my predicted 11 and all the talking points around the game. Yeah, I'll try and be as chipper as I can be this morning, but it's been another week of no movement in the transfer market when movement is required. Like the 3 signings were good, but that's not enough for what Manchester United need this season. But who's down here from the Memo Gang? Let's have a quick look. Carl, good morning to you. Saeed, we've got Matthew Grant. Greg, you're there as well. Robert De Beer. Now, that's a cracking name. You could rob De Beer, right? Rogerio, Lebo, you're there as well. Bully, Simon McGill. We've got Linton, Llewellyn, Brian Irvine. We've got Mekak. We've got Walter. There's loads of you. Good morning to all of you. On Facebook, we've got John Mort. We've got David Carroll. We've got Carol Blinkhorn. Good morning to you. Kevin Gunno. Stephen Lawrence. Some regular faces and some new faces, as always. Plenty of interesting talking points this morning. I imagine it's going to be quite a quiet show. It's been a frustrating week, isn't it? Because I came into this season I predicted United to finish second, and I didn't think I was being completely outrageous. Yeah, sure, I was being on the side of optimistic. That kind of goes without saying. But from that to where we are now, it's been a tricky few weeks, that's for sure. But I want to run through this before we start talking about the footy. Is this right? Refereeing in this country, I think the standards of it are absolutely nowhere near the standards of the football that we see. The Premier League is the best league in the world right now. The refereeing is woeful. And this is Mike Dean admitting in an interview that was it last season when Chelsea played Spurs? I think it was at Stamford Bridge, and there was a decision towards the end of the game where Christian Romero pulled someone's hair. Mike Dean has admitted that he didn't send was it Peter Taylor, Anthony Taylor to VAR because he's his mate. Like all those suspicions about referees and them not doing it just purely on the decision, he's just admitted that right there. So there has to be some sort of inquiry into this, man. There absolutely has to be some inquiry into that. It's I hate it when you talk more about the refereeing decisions than you do about the football itself, which frustrates me. And that's going to be, let's see what happens after that, because something has to happen after that. Let me pull this bad boy up before we get into the show properly now, just to make sure I don't miss anything. And I have missed something. Well, I missed it. My man, Sean McGarrett. Thank you so much, dude. You just gifted 10 memberships. Let me read some names out. Who are the lucky 10? Well, lucky few of you. Andrew, Rent Zero. We've got Dynamic Channels, David Barry, Gary Wilmot, Declan Murphy, Scott Panton. All of you say big thank you to Sean. Let's put the gong out. Nearly dropped my little thing. I didn't. No panic over. Jeez. Right. Let's get into the main part of the show. And like when it rains, it pours, right? We got news of a Mason Mount injury early this week, and out of nowhere, David Ornstein last night saying that Luke Shaw has suffered a muscular injury, expected to be sidelined for an extended period. Man United are hoping it's going to be weeks rather than months. What does that mean? It can be up to 9 weeks. It depends. Kind of like it was 2 months and 1 week, but we have no idea how long Luke Shaw is going to be out for, but it's long enough for the Manchester Evening News to start reporting stuff like this. that Manchester United are going to be in the market for a left back with Shaw and Malacia injured. And we don't know how long for with either of them. And I would say, hold your horses here. Let's go out and actually sign central midfielders that we desperately need before we start looking at alternatives to Luke Shaw and to Tyra Malacia. Because it's obvious who's going to start at left back against Forest. That's Diogo Dalot starting at left back against Forest last year. And that's when he scored a goal. It was a really good performance, that. It'll be Diogo Dalot on that left flank. And the only thing that United need to do now that maybe they weren't doing before is Alvaro Fernandez. We spoke about it yesterday in the show. Alvaro Fernandez was getting linked with a loan move, I think it was, to Granada. Name more. Alvaro Fernandez should be kept at the club, and we might not see Malacia or Shaw for 4, 6, 8 weeks. I don't know. Maybe 6 weeks or so. For Alvaro Fernandez, he's got to look at that and go, this is my moment, man. This is my moment. Look, football's a cruel game, man. Football's a cruel game. I remember when Dean Henderson finished the season as our number one, came into the preseason full of beans, got COVID. De Gea came back in ridiculous form, and Henderson never got a sniff in again. Alvaro Fernandez has to be looking at this and going, you know what? This is my chance. There's not a senior fit left back at our club. Now, Fernandez had a little bit of a mixed bag in the preseason. Some good moments, some bad moments. But he had a very good loan spell at Preston last season. He is a good left back. I don't know whether he can step up to that level, but it's going to be Diogo Dalot at left back and then Fernandez on the bench. I think the idea that Man United should be entering into the market for an emergency left back, that's just ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Comment there from Andy saying, take your moment, Alvaro. And yeah, as I said, this one man's, loss is another man's gain. And that's what this scenario is going to be. Now, Luke Shaw being out, that is a serious blow. Luke Shaw has been one of the probably most dependable players over these last 12 to 14 months. He's kind of grown into a leader. And because Martinez plays there, and because Martinez has played with Onana, United had a bit of a natural tendency to play down that left-hand side in terms of building out from the back with the ball. I think that might suffer a little bit with Diogo Dalot there. Although he did play, as I said, probably his best performance in the United shirt, well, one of there, was that Forest game last year. So let's see what goes on. But he's definitely going to be starting in that position. And I'll tell you what, I've got an interview lined up today. I hope it goes through. And if it does go through, I think it will be a very, very interesting video because we really have to speak about Manchester United's fitness issues, injury concerns, and the links and the patterns between all of it. Because Man United played, probably, I don't actually know this, but I think we played more games in our preseason than any other team. We played, 8, 9 games? Of course, that was a massively mixed bag between, Wrexham was the under-21s, and then we played Athletic Club in Dublin, and that was the fringe players. So it's not necessarily all to do with the first team. But for a team that, with Ten Hag's style of play, right, it's intense. You need to be really athletic. You have to have that first 5-meter burst. You have to be explosive power. You have to have high endurance. You have to have great recovery. United do not look fit right now. And now that we've got Mason Mount picking up a hamstring injury and Luke Shaw picking up another muscular injury, it shows that something's not quite right. Famous Nation, that's a really good point down there. It's something that I need to find some time to do it. But Man United in pre-season, right? Let me pull this up. Because I don't actually know the numbers on this yet, but I've just got an idea on it, right? Let me pull this up. Because I have no idea ours compared to other teams. And we go here, can we go results? Right, here we go. We go back here. Where are we? Is that the right one? I think that's the first one. Yeah, that is the first one. Right. This is Manchester United's preseason, okay? Pull this up here. Man United on the 12th of July, we played in Oslo. A week later, we played in Edinburgh. 3 days after that, we played in New York. A couple of days after that, we played in San Francisco. Then we played in, was it LA? No, that was Houston. Then we played in Vegas. And then we flew home. I think if you looked at the hours spent traveling, Manchester United spent a lot of pre-season traveling. A lot of movement, a lot of games, but how many minutes for our actual first team players? It's very strange because Erik ten Hag's style of play is quite fitness dependent. Like the quality of the front press as a team requires a higher level of energy than a lot of systems of play. You need to have that burst. You need to have that endurance. And it's worrying. Now, you can look at the injuries there. Shaw is a muscular injury. Mason Mount is a muscular injury. Højlund, we signed him injured. Matchday, I don't actually know what Matchday. Does anyone know what his injury was? I don't think anybody said anything. It's just that he was injured. Ahmad, I think that was a muscular injury. Cobby's was impact. And Tom Heaton, I'm not actually sure what his was. But it's not good. It's not good. Now, I think that United, was it Gary O'Driscoll? I did a little joke tweet about it the other day, and some people seem to get offended. I think, is it Gary O'Driscoll's coming in from Arsenal as the head of medical? I think he's coming at the end of the summer, something like that. David, apparently you're saying that Matchday is the knee. Yeah, I don't actually know what it is, but it's concerning. So what I've got this afternoon is I've got an interview lined up with somebody who has been doing research into this and looking into Manchester United's fitness concerns, the conditioning, what the problems are, linking it all together, because I think that is a big issue. The issue of our players not finishing properly, I mean, that's just down to training. That's just down to up there. And it's down to signing the right players. And we've got a new 70 million euro signing who's waiting to make his debut. Hopefully he's part of the squad this weekend. But Luke Shaw picking up that muscular injury in the same week that Mason Mount picks up his. It's concerning. And that's why I want to do that video at lunchtime today. There's a couple of comments. Let me read these out. Make sure I don't miss that. Yeah, look at that. It's the man himself. It is indeed the Gongshi Gongshi. The Gongshi Gongshi? Don't know. Jeez. I don't know why I made that noise after it. It just feels appropriate every time. Let me see what you're saying down there. Kev, it's worrying when you compare us to City and Arsenal. They don't do much preseason. Why are we? Why didn't we stay at home? Well, dude, Man United, it's a commercial entity. I think Arsenal did. We played Arsenal. Arsenal did do a tour, but I can't imagine their tour was as in-depth as ours was. We have, as I said, like 8-9 games. We added in an extra game against Wrexham the day before we're playing Real Madrid, because that was a money spinner, wasn't it? Man United playing Wrexham the day before we're playing Real Madrid. So we've got 2 games in 24 hours is nothing more than a money spinner. That is not something that has a positive impact on Ten Hag's ability to prepare for the season. No, he's got to be in one place, then fly to another place the next day, and 2 different teams. It's, yeah, I'm going to speak about that because I think it's something that needs to be discussed. But what I would say is this, right? Last season, at the start of the season, Man United lost 2 games against Brighton and Brentford, especially the Brentford drumming, and there was a doom and gloom. And we played Liverpool next. There was a real sense of doom. Man United turned it around. 4 wins on the spin. Liverpool, Southampton, Leicester, and Arsenal, I think. 4 wins on the spin. Erik ten Hag switched his system. Remember, that was when De Gea was trying to play out from the back and it wasn't working. We went a bit more direct for a few games. We won, and then everyone got used to the system a bit more. I think that Erik ten Hag, and I'm going to run through my predicted 11, but I think we might see a slight tweak. I think we might be a little bit less proactive going forward. I think it will tone down the aggression in our front press a little tiny bit. I think whilst Ten Hag tries to navigate these next couple of games. Because after we get through Forest and Arsenal, we've got then a 2-week international break. It's like, you can reset. For these next 2 games, it's going to be interesting. Let me see what you're saying in the comments. Chris, you're saying, hopefully we'll learn from the mistakes we made in pre-season. It's something that happened in pre-season and something that's happening again. Like serious individual errors. Serious individual errors. Pigeonhead, you're saying a big win could steady our ship. Look, right. Type yes or no in the comments. I want to know, would you be happy if because if Man United beat Forest, we've got 6 points from our opening 9 against Wolves, Spurs, and Forest. Now, you might say that's the minimum, but I'd say 6 from 9, given everything that's happened so far, given the frustrations, I think that's a decent enough start to the season. Now, Arsenal next week is going to be really difficult, pretty much no matter what happens, unless we all of a sudden, Arsenal's going to be tough. Luke Shaw won't be there now. We don't know whether Højlund's going to be fit yet. We don't currently have the midfield to compete at that elite level on a consistent basis. Let me see what you're saying down there. John, you'd be happy with 6. Lone Wolf, you'd say the same thing. Chris, you'd say the same thing. Matt and Alex and Big Guy. Adriel, you say... Majority of you kind of agree with me down there. Not all of you do. Not all of you do. But 1 second here. There we go. Sorry. Somebody keeps spamming the same comment, so I apologize if I banned you, but you're really getting on my nerves. So take it out there. Last season, Erik ten Hag had the ability to navigate us through that period, and I think he will do the same thing this time. But we've got a playing style that the players aren't quite clearly used to doing yet, and I don't think have got the fitness levels to recover. I think we're just overzealous. We keep overcommitting going forward. And then when we lose the ball, we haven't quite got the athleticism to cover those spaces behind us. That's the issue. Add on top of that, the injuries. Add on top of that, the fact that we do need more in that midfield. It's a tough start. And the fact that our attackers can't score. There's just a few things all happening at once. I don't want to try and say it's a crisis. There are problems. But if we beat Forest and we get 6 points out of our first 9, that's a very fine start to the season, given how shaky and tumultuous it is right now. Don't win tomorrow. Hey, then problems might exacerbate. It might get worse. But it's amazing what can happen when you just get a win under your belt. Fernanda, how you doing, buddy? Thank you very much, Super Chat. With the amount of injuries, does United employ physio staff? Well, they're just accountants and lawyers. Well, I can't confirm or deny that. But that's why I'm going to do my lunchtime video on that, Fernando. I think it really is. It's probably the thing that's making United fans head scratch more. Like, how have we had a full preseason and we look this unfit? Something doesn't match up. I think part of it is still Man United played more games than anybody last season, 62. Man United probably played more games in the preseason than any team. And Erik ten Hag, let's be honest, he's not a man who rotates his players. And certainly I think that probably affects the attackers more than anybody else, because the attackers are the ones that have got to make those sprints, have got to make those constant runs in behind. 9 times out of 10, those runs are ignored. Let's find out. It's been a tough start to the season. And Shaw's injury, yeah, when it rains, it pours, right? When it rains, it pours. But I'm going to read a couple of your comments out down here, and then we're going to move on to talk about transfers, all right? Corey is saying Ten Hag's clear favoritism and stubbornness will cost him the job. Ragnick would have helped him build his perfect possession team, but he said he didn't want him here. Favoritism and stubbornness. I don't want to see Ten Hag just being stubborn with Anthony, personally. I think Anthony has had a shaky start to the season. Anthony has been kind of up and down basically since he became a Manchester United player. But I want Ten Hag to play players on form. There's not one player in that team that I wouldn't take out if they're not on form. And Anthony, given how Pellistri is playing, his place should be in question. That was one thing that sort of was part of Solskjaer's downfall towards the end was, it didn't matter what Fred and McTominay did, they would be starting every single week. Stubbornness is an important part of being a manager. You have to be confident in your own abilities and confident in your own decisions, right? You can't just be undermined by everybody or you're not going to be a very good manager. But it has to be a little bit of a balance between those two. I'll be interested to see who starts this weekend. David, you're saying Ten Hag will be stubborn with how he wants to play, not stubborn with who he starts. And while I agree with that, David, I will point you back to this. Erik Ten Hag was the opposite of stubborn after 2 games last season. He wanted to play out from the back with the ball. But he said, you know what? You can't do that right now, can you? Right? Fair enough. Let me switch to playing a little bit more direct. We played direct against Liverpool, Leicester, Southampton, and Arsenal, and we got 4 wins on the spin. And then we came back and we tried to do it again. Still didn't quite work. I don't think Erik Ten Hag will be as stubborn as you think he will be. He can see it's not working. He's not an idiot. And I don't think he'll just keep going and going and going until it blows up in his face. Famous last words, but let's find out. But last season, he showed that he could tweak and he could change, and it improved Manchester United. I think we do need some of those tweaks and changes for this Forest game. But look at that, man. Wow. Johan and Jack. Johan gifting 10 memberships, and Jack, you've gifted 5. You absolute legends of the game. Who we got? Let me see some names down here. See if I can pull them out. Steve Ice Williams, Nathan Owen, Ryan Perkins, Yogi. You've been gifted some down there. And then what about some from Johan too? Thank you so much, guys. Matt Bird, Mosin, Alan McNamara, Steve-O. Imagine we've got Steve-O here for... Well, we're not going to get Steve-O for an interview. That'd be cool, though. Legends, both of you. Big up indeed, Yogi. Big up indeed. But let's speak about, hey, transfers. Transfers, or lack thereof. I'm going to focus on the exits because we all know full well that we're not signing anybody until the exits come through. Now, yesterday was a couple of confirmed exits. Nothing that really massively moves the needle for United, but I suppose it's a little bit more money in the kitty. Man United sold Jonny Evans for €1 million, man. I still can't. It's kind of like a fire sale. Like, you don't really care. Pardon me. Like, you don't really care if you get fair and true price for it. You just want to get rid of it. You have to get rid of it. You just need to get any sort of money. That's kind of what it feels like with the youngsters that we're selling. Like, I know that Zidane Iqbal, he's not a £20 million player. I'm not trying to say he is, but is he an 850 grand player? No, he's not. That's the sort of transfer fees you get down in League 1 and League 2. But no, remember him. He's left for €1 million, so that's a little bit more in the kitty. Brandon Williams, a player that I wanted to see Manchester United sell on a permanent basis and get some decent money for. I had him down as $5 million. We didn't get a penny for him. I imagine you might get a loan fee. But again, that's going to be hundreds of thousands, which isn't really going to move the needle much for United. But good luck to Brandon Williams at Ipswich, rejoining Kieran McKenna, who we worked with at United. I genuinely think it'll be a good signing for them. Really will be. And they're top of the championship right now, so he's gonna have an interesting season ahead. Yeah, it's just Ethan Laird. We got him down here now, don't we? I'll put Emeran down as 500k. You can probably be a little bit more than that. You've got Iqbal for 850, Ethan Laird for 750. It just seems like a weird fire. Like, I know there's going to be a sell-on clause, etc., but that's not really going to change much. I don't know. It's really weird. In fact, I'm not even sure we might have even paid more than that to sign Jonny Evans. Jonny Evans joins Man United. Don't know if I can find this. I'm pretty sure we paid a little bit more than that, though. Sod knows. Either way, I find it really weird. I find the whole... I don't find it weird that we're selling young players who Erik Ten Hag doesn't feel have the quality to break through. That's not what I'm saying. Not every youth player can come through, guys. Right? If you look at it, it's a small percentage. I understand that. But selling them at these sorts of prices, it's just... I find it like, why? Why? Should be able to command more than that, man. Really, really should be. Jibak, you're saying dismayed by how we are handling our youth. We're basically saying, unless you're as good as Manu, you won't ever get a chance at United. So I disagree with that comment. Man United, when it comes to youth team players coming through, what? You want to see more Donald Loves, Tyler Blackett's, Paddy McNair's, Cameron Borthwick-Jackson's? I mean, you can go, there's plenty more to add to that list. No, only the best should be coming through to Manchester United's first team. Garnacho, he's one of them. Kobbie Mainoo is going to be another one coming through. Let's see what goes on with Alvaro Fernandez and whether he gets the opportunities this season. We have to be selective, but we have to be better at making a profit from those that aren't quite good enough, but are clearly very good footballers and can go elsewhere. It's just weird. It's weird. You can tell me all you want about sell-on clauses and this and that, but it's a bit weird. It really is. Someone who, look, I'm still hopeful, right? This is reports coming out from the Evening Standard in London that West Ham might still come back in for Scott McTominay. But I'll be totally honest, man. Look at the strength and depth of our squad right now. You've got Mason Mount, who's injured. You've got Kobbie Mainoo, who's injured. So therefore, you've got Bruno Fernandes there. You've got Christian Eriksen, and he can't play that sort of aggressive number 8 role. You've got Hannibal, who could, yeah, sure. And you've got McTominay. If you sell McTominay as well, then you're looking at Bruno, and then Eriksen, and then Hannibal. 3 players for 2 positions currently because of injuries. It's almost like the injury to Mount is now going to stop any chance of Scott McTominay leaving. But let's see what goes on there. Jack Stewart is saying, is Shaw injured? Yeah, I hate to be the bearer of bad news if you missed that last night, but he's going to be sidelined for an extended period. They're not saying how long it's going to be for, but we need this game of football tomorrow, man, and we need a win from this game of football. We really, really do. We need some positivity coming back in. In terms of signings, all right, actually, there's a couple new members there. Let me give some shout-outs. Warren Davids and David Harrison. David in, David out. How you doing, lads? Let me know where you watch from. I'll try and give you a shout-out. Marcus, I saw somewhere that James Garner's going to come back. Perfect example there of people need to read what it was a parody account, dude. I don't know how people get spun by that so easy. All you have to do is read the username. Look at that doesn't match up. There's an E missing. It's just a parody account. Hannibal is a card magnet. Well, I won't disagree with that. I do enjoy watching Hannibal. Alex, why not promote Dan Gore? It could well happen. Dan Gore has done nothing but impress in pre-season. Also impressed when he's gone back with the under-21s. You could see Dan Gore coming into the matchday squad. I wouldn't rule that out at all. I think it's probably a fair shout, to be fair. Nishan, how you doing, dude? Remember Liverpool last season after playing all those games? They were trash for the first half. Seems similar to what is happening to us. Well, no, we're worse in second halves than first halves. Look at the Spurs game last week, right? We were, I wouldn't say we were fantastic in the first half, but we more than matched them in the first half. We didn't score. And then we just collapsed in the second, right? But we know. We are 6 days and counting now until the transfer window is closed. Now, one transfer that we pretty much know is going to be happening is Altay Bayındır, the Fenerbahce goalkeeper. It's not going to be one that gets everybody massively excited, all right? But if Andre Onana does indeed go back to the Cameroon national team and he goes to African Cup of Nations in January, well, then we're going to be looking at Bayındır coming in for a month. So maybe the signing of him could be more important than you think it is. But that's him getting pictures at Ataturk Airport. Is that in Istanbul? I think it must be. No, that's just in Ataturk, which is a place. Anyway, Turkish airport. He's going to be coming over. That's going to be probably the 4th signing of the summer. But we know full well there are other signings that we just... It's not a case of wanting United to make more signings, is it? It's not a case of looking at us and going, oh, if only we had this and this and this. Then it's a necessity. This midfield is just not good enough. Depth-wise, quality-wise, fitness-wise, athleticism-wise, to compete with the very top. Not even just the very top, just maybe Wolves had us. Wolves are relegation candidates. And their midfield completely overran us. It's the Premier League. We need more in it, and we know exactly who should be part of that. And that's Amrabat. Fiorentina CEO yesterday confirming, say, look, Amrabat's not even working with the squad. We've not received any bids for him. Amrabat's just sitting there waiting, man. Jay, you're saying, do we have no money for Amrabat? And the truth is, no, we don't, man. We do not. Man United are scrambling down the back of the sofa. How much do we get for Emeran? 100 grand. Cool. Add that in. What's the loan fee for Brandon Williams? I don't know. 200 grand. Oh, cool. Right. Add that in. Right, good. So we've got 1.2 mil. How much more do we need? What else can we do? We can't even get rid of Eric Bailly for free. That's how weird that one is. I don't understand that. But Amrabat sitting there waiting patiently. United still not moving. Gravenberch sitting there. I wouldn't say he's waiting patiently, but Gravenberch is an opportunity that is possible if Manchester United were to go after him. And I will continue to repeat and repeat and repeat until hopefully it becomes truth. But Amrabat and Gravenberch, Man United should be looking at getting both. Gravenberch on loan and Amrabat on a permanent deal. And Amrabat's just sitting there waiting. What you're saying in the comments down here. Mark, where's the 900 mil off Adidas gone? You make it sound like Adidas just turn up with a suitcase full of money. It's 900 million. That's based over 10 years. So it's 90 million a season. And I don't know whether it's paid in installments. And let's be honest, Manchester United, well, how much do we invest that's not on the credit card these days? It's just the credit card we're spending on. Can we do a loan for Amrabat, says Joshua? It's very unlikely. If I'm correct, Amrabat's got 1 year left on his contract. So if we were to have a loan, we would have to do loan with an obligation to buy, which would be the same thing as buying him now, wouldn't it? So maybe that could work. You could do a loan with an obligation to buy. Anything to push the numbers further down to like next accounts. What else are you saying down here? Let's talk it into existence, says Simon. That's pretty much what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to talk it into existence. Lawsy, you're saying, I'd be disappointed if we can't get both. I would be disappointed, but I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't be surprised. But ladies and gents, all right, don't worry, because the big one has happened this summer. I know this is what we've all been waiting for. Jonny Evans. He's going to be getting a 1 year deal from United. This is Manchester. Now, Jonny Evans, of course, plays more on the left-hand side than he does on the right-hand side. But, I mean, if that's not, again, another hint towards Maguire, people say, oh, Sam, you're looking for the negative. You're spreading hate. It's like, Eric Ten Hag would prefer to play Luke Shaw as centre-back ahead of Harry Maguire. Bringing Evans in on a 1 year deal, I'm genuinely not offended by it. It's just the what we've gone from is Maguire leaving and Man United reinvesting that money into Debo to Man United giving Jonny Evans a 1 year deal. And it's a bit of a drop off. Let's be honest. It's a bit of a drop off. But Maguire didn't want to leave. I don't need to go back into that. But Jonny Evans signing on a 1. Maybe he'll end up being more like a what's his face? Was it Tom Huddleston last season? I think it was. One player who plays with the under-21s, who's over 21, who's there for experience, getting some coaching badges, whilst also semi-playing at the same time. Maybe you'll see Jonny Evans in that position. Maybe you'll see him stay inside the first team squad as a backup. But it's not that's not something which really offends me. It's just that everyone's going to jump on that now because of everything that happens. And then you get the Jonny Evans situation on top. It just kind of exacerbates the issue. But yeah. Maguire, man. I hope you like sitting on the bench. I really do. Matthew saying, surely Maguire can see what is happening. As I said, I don't necessarily think that's that's Jonny Evans just being brought in to be ahead of Maguire in the pecking order because they do play on different sides. But damn. David, how you doing, buddy? Thank you very much. You're saying Amrabat would be a good signing, takes the pressure off Casemiro. Yeah, you're preaching to the choir there, my friend. You are preaching to the choir. Watching from Northampton. I'll try and remember that when we go to the map a little bit later on today, David. Don't worry, everyone. I know it's Friday. I know it's map day. The map's sitting there waiting patiently. All right. Famous nation. Why didn't Maguire leave? You know why Maguire didn't leave. He couldn't come to a compromise with Manchester United over a payoff on the remainder of his contract. That was what the issue was. So United didn't want to pay it. Maguire didn't want to leave without it. Stalemate. Maguire stayed. West Ham has signed a different centre-back instead. Let's move on to the next talking point here. So just as much as Manchester United's men were involved in transfer, of course, the females are involved, women's team are involved in transfers. And Mary Earps was one of the biggest stars from the World Cup. Got to the final, saved that penalty. And we just lost Alessia Russo to Arsenal on a free transfer. I think Mary Earps has got 1 year left on her contract. And Man United turned down a world record bid for her. Be interested to see if Man United can hold, because that would be bad. That would be seriously, seriously bad if Manchester United were to lose Mary Earps. So I hope they hold on to her. Well, what I'm going to start doing, by the way, quite a few people have been asking for this. This is going to be part of the Discord when it gets launched. I'm going to sort of look out for people that want to get involved in some coverage, maybe some help on the academy side of stuff, on maybe the women's side of stuff. And we can maybe add these sorts of things into the end of the live shows, little snippets of you getting involved with the coverage. I think that would be a cool idea, but this is all gearing up towards what I want Discord to be. I can't wait to do it. But look, right, last 5-10 minutes of the show, we've got to speak about the game this weekend. Let me know what your feelings are. I'll be honest, I think I can predict what your feelings are going into this game against Forest. But do you expect there to be a response from United? Do you expect it to be a continuation of the problems that we've seen in these first two games? Do you expect there to be tweaks with the team and tweaks with the formation? Right, let me know what you think in the comments, because Forest at home, United should be getting 3 points. Wolves at home, United should be getting 3 points. We got the 3 points against Wolves, but we made that as hard as we possibly could. Had we done our job properly, we would have scored 2 or 3 against Wolves. We would have scored probably 2 in the first half against Spurs. We didn't. We couldn't hit a barn door. I hope that Højlund's fit to make the matchday squad. I don't think that Højlund will be fit to start this game, but having him as an option there, maybe him getting 5-10 minutes as a little debut just before Arsenal. Maybe he won't be fit to play either the game. Let me see what you're saying in the comments. And you're going for a 1-0. David Harrison going for a 4-1. Bishal, Ilanga scored. Imagine, can't rule that out, Ilanga scoring against us. Really can't. Alex squeaky 2-1 win. Another 1-0. I don't know what to expect. Obviously, there's concerns about how United are playing. We're trying to play aggressively in that 3-1-6 formation when we have the ball. In possession, Ten Hag wants the overlap. He wants one inverted fullback. He wants one winger, one fullback to drop in and make 3 at the back. He wants Casemiro to cover a lot of room on his own. He wants that front 6 to win the ball high up the pitch. And United have been hit. He wants to make us Ten Hag said he wants to make us the best transition team in the world. But from a defensive perspective, we are the worst transition team in the league currently when it comes to losing the ball and being hit on the counter. Man United, look at that. We have faced 31 shots inside our box so far this season. And the opposition have had more touches against us than any team in the Premier League, which is negative, right? But on the flip side, that's the wrong thing. On the flip side, you go here. This is what I said yesterday. Man United have created the 3rd most big chances in the Premier League with 6. We only scored 1 of them. And we have more shots in the first half against Spurs than we have had in any half away from home in the Premier League since 2008. So when it works, it works. When it doesn't, it doesn't. And it just refers back to something that I've been mentioning for, I'm blue in the face, man. We don't have midfielders who can just play a little bit of football. Just play a little bit of keep ball. Knocking it around. Just pass it to you. Run into space. Pass it back. Quick 1-2. Done. Beating the press. Keeping it moving. We can't do that. We're still that transition team. It's got to go as quickly as possible from back to front. And it's a problem. It's why we need someone like Amrabat. It's why we need someone like Gravenberch. I'm not just saying it for the sake of it. I'm saying it because it's true. Let me see what you're saying down here in the comments, right? Let's go down. See, let's see what you see. Sam's favourite player, Martial, should start. I didn't have him in my starting 11, but he could well start. I just don't want to see Rashford starting up front. Kerwin, we're a Casemiro injury or suspension away from a crap season. Mate, Casemiro's had a pretty poor start. But yeah, who else would play there? McTominay? We're trying to sell him. Kings of losing possession and probably the worst at regaining it. Nope, we're not the worst. We are literally the best at regaining it. We've won them all. We've won the ball more in the opposition third per 90 than any team in the league. We're just not doing anything with it. That's the issue. But the issue is, of course, a little bit to do with the style, but more about substance and quality when we have the ball. The off-the-ball work rate in the opposition third is working. However, we're just not doing enough with it. Scoring goals. That's what they say is the hardest thing in football, right? This is what I think the team will be today. Let me run through this and you can let me know in the comments. I have gone for Eriksen coming in for Mason Mount, and I've gone Sancho up front with Rashford on the left. You'll notice that I've switched the formation a little bit. What United have been doing so far this season is playing more like this with Casemiro as a kind of an isolated number 6. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think Erik ten Hag will try and bring more control in. And that means reverting to United playing a 4-2-3-1. More like that. Eriksen and Casemiro alongside each other, with Bruno in the number 8 on number 10 on his own. But I really want to see these two there, man. Luke Shaw obviously won't be playing. Fair play. Go over there. That's a simple switch. It's definitely going to be Diogo Dalot. It won't be Alvaro Fernandez who starts this game. That would be the team that I expect to see. Right? Jack, you're saying, do you think this is a hangover due to the mass amount of games last season? I really do. I think that's part of it. I don't think these players have ever fully recovered. Look, you can either play Eriksen. There's 3 options, right? 3 options for who replaces Mason Mount in this team. Let me do this. Let me do this as a poll quickly. A quick 5-minute poll. Who should replace Mount? Because I think there's 3 options. Right? Option 1, Christian Eriksen. Option 2, Dominate. And option 3, Hannibal. Which do you think will happen? Maybe just which do you want to see happen? Maybe that's a better question. Hannibal, Eriksen, or McTominay. One of those 3, I think, will come in. And I'm not sure if Eriksen comes in, Erik ten Hag cannot play the same formation that we've been playing in these first few games. Because if he was to do this and Bruno there and play Eriksen there and get United playing with the aggressive press in this area, Eriksen doesn't have the explosiveness and the pace and the athleticism to play inside that system. So I think if Eriksen comes in, that's why I think we'll see Eriksen drop a bit deeper with Casemiro to support Casemiro as well, and kind of a lot of the running to be left up to Bruno. I think Eriksen will start. I think McTominay will probably come on in the second half. And you're saying, Sam, what about Sancho in the number 10, Bruno in the number 8? So you could... Bruno in the number 8. That's a switch of formation, isn't it? Unless you mean this. But then who plays up there? Is that what you mean? That's an awful formation. Nah, sod that. I'm not playing Rashford through the middle. Rashford's not playing through the middle. Rashford's not playing through the middle. Please, no. Please, no. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. Hey, look, it may well be Martial. You might be right, actually. It might be Martial there. It might be... You could potentially see a bit of this. Right? Can't rule this out. Sancho on the right. Martial through the middle. Rashford on the left. Not as much sort of pace per se, but more intricacy, more ability to play 1-2s and to play through the Nottingham Forest team. Because I think Nottingham Forest will sit deep. They're physical. I don't know. That could happen. That could well happen if Martial's fit enough to start. Look, man, I've got nothing against Martial. Apart from the fact that I know he's just going to get injured and he's just going to let me down. Maybe that's a smarter call. Drop Anthony, bring Martial in, push Rashford to the left, and put Sancho on the right-hand side. I think he's going to play Eriksen coming in for Mason Mount, but let's find out, right? Let me see who you would be voting for in the poll. 300 votes and 63% of you think that Eriksen's going to come in for him, and I agree. I think we'll see that. What's your predictions then? Fire in your predictions, and then we'll head to the map. Man, I always manage to find the positive spin. I always do. I very much struggled this week to find a positive spin on anything. It's kind of been just bad news, compounded by bad news, compounded by extra bad news. But hopefully a nice win tomorrow will change that. Because that's what football is, man. We need this win. And then we need things to go right for us next week. I don't know what we need next week. Jeez. That Arsenal game is going to be sticky, I think is probably a fair way to describe it. Sam, you're going for a Rashford hat-trick and 4-0. Just took Rashford out of my team. Jibat, you're saying 3-0 for us. Haaland will come on and score. Imagine that. Haaland does come on and Haaland does score. Now, that would be an injection of positivity that would be fantastic. 2-0 says Oleo. 2-0 says Stephen Lawrence. 1-0. 1 ton, you're saying 2-0, 3-0. Well, to be fair, overwhelming majority of you are still confident down there. And hey, why not? I think I went for a 2-0, if I can remember correctly. I think I went for a 2-0 win for Manchester United. Davey just saying, look, these chances eventually will be put away. And while I agree with that, I also said the same thing last season. And just somehow it never got any better. I think the shape of United's attack, the efficiency of United's attack will improve significantly when Haaland comes in. It really will. Will improve so much more. He's got that aggressive press. He's got the quality with the ball at his feet. He can play behind. He's got the pace. He's hopefully got the finishing. We need him up front, man. We need him up front. I'm going for a 2-0. Let's see if I'm right. Probably won't be, but you never know. Right, last couple of minutes of the show. You know exactly what time it is. It's Friday, which means we've got the map out. Now, if I remember correctly, somebody sent in a super chat earlier, and it was from Northampton. But I remember that. Come on. Someone give me some kudos if I remembered that. I think I did. Last few pins on the map. We've got Fiji, Northampton, Malta, Kuwait, India, Nevada, Norway, Cyprus, Netherlands, 2 Maltas. Look at that. Double Malta. Single Malt. Well, let me pull this up here, go down there, and then I'll pull a few of you onto the map. Let me know where you're watching from. You need the town and the country. Like Lawsy watching from Krupunda in Germany. Sounds very German, that place. That's not how you spell it. Yeah, there you go. Haustenbeck. On the map, sir. Welcome aboard. Dee-dee-dee. What else we got? We've got Rofi watching from Penang in Malaysia. On you go, sir. Penang in Malaysia. I think they might be on there before, but solid. We've definitely got some repeats here. We really do. What else are we saying down here in the comments? Let's get one more from Chris watching from Ponte de Lima. Man, I want to go on holiday again. Oh, well. Ponte de Lima. Awesome. Let's get one more. Let's get one more of you on the map. Why not? I'm feeling generous. There's so many people that fire in. Got Neville watching from Walvis Bay in Namibia. You know, a little fun fact. You might have listened to it, Neville. Fun fact. This last week, United People's TV or United People's podcast was #1 in Namibia on the soccer podcast, soccer, and #1 in Mauritius. So Neville, you might have listened to it, and if you did, big up to you, my friend. It's all good fun. It's all good fun. Look, last minute of the show. Look, if you want to ask me any questions, can be about the football, can be about anything if you want. But this weekend, it's been a struggle this week. We've had Mason Mount's injury. We've had the Maguire. Was that the Maguire situation collapsing this week, or was that last week? I think it was last week. We've had no movement on any midfield signings. We've had another injury to Luke Shaw. We've had our fitness concerns. We've had the game against Spurs. We've had no other sales going through. It's there's a lot of there's a lot of bad news coming out United's way this week. All the frustrations around the takeover and more whispers coming out and people getting excited and not excited. The Mason Greenwood situation. Yeah, it's been a lot. But you all stick around with me. I like that. I love that. It's been a bit of a quiet week overall. Not as many people tuning in, but that's because this channel doesn't exist. This channel doesn't thrive on negativity. When it's down, we're down. When United are doing well, everyone flies over to United People's TV. And you're saying, are you opening the arms up after the game in support of the sit-in? Oh, I could do that, actually. Well, I'm going to have to do my work first with the match reaction. But the arms will be open before the game. Don't worry about that. And I will do this one more time, actually, before we finish. But if you can and you're going to the game, remember to support the 58 and sit in your seat.
Sir Jim Ratcliffe wants to buy a stake in Manchester United with a view to taking full control.
Sheikh Jassim has submitted a fifth improved bid for Manchester United.
Got 24 million quid out of the club about 2 months ago. We've got now a decrepit, rotting stadium. You've got a football project where they haven't got a clue.
This challenge incites conflict. Conflict means catastrophe.
There has been a report yesterday suggesting that the Glazers are pausing the takeover.
These owners, since Sir Alex Ferguson, have proven in 10 years they cannot manage forward-thinking football club. We're now seeing what's happening, and it's a mess, and it cannot continue to go on. It can't.
Thank you everyone, as always, for another full week. I've been here Monday to Friday. We've been here with the recorded videos as well in the afternoon. Let's have a look at the poll there to finish off the week with the lives. 600 votes and 65% of you think that Eriksen should be starting. I think Eriksen should start as well. James, Sam, where in Amsterdam would you suggest for a holiday? Well, it depends what sort of holiday you want in Amsterdam. Man, I want to go back to Amsterdam. What a place. I want to go on holiday. I want to see United win a game. Come on, beat Forest, please. Much love to every single member of the community. Next week, by the way, we're going to be getting the Discord launched, and you really should be excited because when this launches, this is going to take this community and make it 10 times better. Much love, everyone. Speak to you soon.